Olfactory art is art you actually can smell. The artworks incorporate natural essential oils. The psychological effects of these essential oils have my special interest. In my art, I use these effects to communicate different olfactory stories. My name is Claudia de Vos. I'm an olfactory artist and a scent psychologist. A little bit about my journey as an olfactory artist. Like every plant, every odor has a story. It has a story about symbolism, it has a story about history, it has cultural aspects. And that actually means that you have to tell the story with all types of materials, because then you create a bigger spectrum on how your spectators perceive this information. And the interesting thing is that not only the scent is influencing our subconsciousness, it's also the whole range of using all these forms and colors and shapes. So, for instance, I have created the artwork Mosmeisje, and Mosmeisje is a digital constructed photography which I have been printing on a material, and then in the end I have been shaping this also, so this got 3D aspects. I really use this type of material because when I first encountered that image, the moss in the forest, besides the scent, the really warm aphrodisiac scent, the moss has really an invitation of touching. It is very tactile. It's besides that, the components of oak moss are to be said very aphrodisiac. I found it a real interesting thing just to enhance the feeling of this specific aphrodisiac powers. So to give you an impression of my work, I also created an atmospheric videoscape just to give a feel of what my intention is with this work. So if you have your oak moss scent with you, just try it out and smell the scent together with watching the videoscape. In my last works I use also more types of blends, and this is actually to create a more complex invitation for my spectators. In Touch of Nature are 3 types of the same image, and then made in 3 different materials. So I made a sculpture in ceramics, I made a tapestry, and I made a wooden panel. And the note, the prime note in this odor I used in this work is the note of fresh grass. But what I also did, like I added a little bit of different scents to every sculpture. So for instance, at the tapestry, I added the scent of sheep. So that's actually, it's an absolute of wool. The drawbacks of natural ingredients, a question, are there any? Yes. Essential oils are volatile, and this means that after a while some odors fade. And this is the question I get from my clients: so will the odor fade in the end? And the answer is yes. But on the other hand, if you see the essential oils as a living matter, you can also think of it as, instead of having just an object, having something you have to take care of, like a pet and or a plant. And you have to feed your pets and plants from time to time. And this is exactly the same what you have to do with my objects. You have to feed them from time to time with essential oils, just to make sure that your quality of the oils and the volatile components are still there when you want to smell it. What about placing my olfactory art in musea and art spaces? sometimes there is a difficulty because of the use of scent. A recent difficulty I encountered was one of the works that was hanging in a big hall, where also groups of people of the asthma center they had their conference. And as we all know, these people are very sensible to any kind of sensory stimuli. So yes, I have the built-in system. It was not such a big problem, but then I have to just say, okay, don't use the system as the people are there. I also have encountered people who from a museum that are afraid that the scent might influence the collection of the ancient works they have there. So yes, this is a bit of a type of concern. So most of the time I use my scent in an enclosed way. So this is inside a system that only when pushed or opened is smellable. Using olfactory art in your practice is not only working with plain scent, it's also using art. And the art aspect contains multiple sensory stimuli. So if you offer them enough sensory stimuli, there's always something to offer for someone who has a preferred sense. And in combination with scent, I think this is a perfect way to support your clients in expressing themselves. The olfactory art I make is relatively affordable and it's possible to ship to all countries. And if you want just to add that little extra to your practice, just have a look at my gallery. I'm happy to help you find the perfect object for your space.